we're winding down the show, and Joey Porter comes over decked out in Colorado State gear, and he's pissed.
The phrase he was uttering was, "I wanted to meet the reason for the treason."
Which sounds like something Muhammad Ali would say.
It was a very catchy way to get my attention, for sure. I'm assuming the implication is if you work in sports media here,
You're a turncoat?
You should, well, no, you should be, what, pro Steelers, and why would you, I guess,
I don't know. I didn't really get it. But anyways.
Right.
So it turns out that the other Chris Mueller, one of these things that nobody believes, that there are two Chris Muellers in Pittsburgh sports media. The other Chris Mueller is the guy that reported
the
Joey Porter's arrest.
Correct. He was at the Flats as a customer.
Joey Porter gets arrested.
Right.
The other Chris Mueller reports it. So
only person that had it.
Joey Porter had a quarrel with the other Chris Mueller.
Or so I thought.
It was a mistaken identity situation. He wanted a piece of the other Chris Mueller, and when you said, hey, Joey, there are two Chris Muellers, he didn't believe it. He thought it was Craig that's a stupid lie. Like, that's a dog ate my homework excuse. There aren't two Chris Muellers in Pittsburgh sports media. Do you think I'm some kind of idiot?
Chris, do you care to answer that question?
And so you were trying your best to explain that to him, and it wasn't like Porter wasn't having it because he just thought it was so ridiculous, the idea of two Chris Muellers.
I mean, I think you're not telling the whole story here, though.
Well, then tell the whole story, Chris. You were the one that almost got your ass kicked at a very nice golf tournament yesterday.
Correct. I mean, I didn't think we were going to let it slide that it was just mistaken identity. For the first 5 minutes of this exchange, I thought it was.
It was a who's on first routine.
To the extent that I said, hey, Pony, come here, we've got another Mulsey mistaken identity.
Yeah, you asked me to try to put out your Joey Porter fire.
Genuinely thought that he was looking for the other guy.
Yep.
Then, only after 5 minutes of back and forth and Porter starting to cuss at me more loudly and frequently, did I realize he was mad about tweets that I sent out 5 days ago, where the other Chris Mueller also happened to be the guy who saw Juju paying for a woman's groceries at the South Side, Giant Eagle, and reported that, and then was challenged in some corners of Twitter for being a pretend journalist for reporting a positive Juju story. At which point I said, publicly, odd how this guy's credentials were not challenged when he reported the Porter story at the Flats, something that would have painted a Steeler in a negative light.
And this gets back to Joey Porter somehow.
Correct. As
and
means
that's
of
why
defending
Porter was mad at you.
As means of closing ranks around the other Chris Mueller in town.
And
Porter is mad at me for bringing his name into a process whereby I was really just defending the other guy, saying, you don't need to bring my name into this.
Right, which he took personally because you should not be...
I could have defended the kid without bringing his name into it. It was his contention.
I think he felt like the guy has no integrity to begin with. Why are you giving him... You're using me to give him credibility when he got that report about me wrong. He kept, with F-bombs in there, kept talking about how the other Chris Mueller's reporting on his incident was crap. And it sounded to me like Joey Porter thought that you, specifically you, this Chris Mueller, that you were the reason why he's radioactive and no NFL team would hire him.
That was the implication.
And so he's out there.
Well, hold on. Can you let me finish?
Oh, there's more?
Yeah. I mean, there is. So he felt like his situation was being misrepresented, that yes, he mentioned 30 other NFL teams in this rant against me. He was just fuming about that. You don't need to bring my name in this to defend this other person.
Who he hates.
I would assume who he doesn't like.
Who he hates. Go on.
Who he doesn't like because of this initial reporting. Now you made me lose my train of thought.
Well, yeah. I mean, of course you're going to lose your train of thought. You almost got your ass kicked by a former NFL player
I'm trying
yesterday.
to recount the order of... Oh, no, here's the problem. Here was the thing that I really was suspicious about. This is what it is. In telling me that he was very unhappy with me, and maybe by extension, all Chris Muellers in Pittsburgh sports media.
Yep.
He also said, I don't go on any social media. I don't have Twitter. I don't take pictures of my food and put them on Instagram or whatever that is, which I thought was kind of funny, actually, that he used that example. He doesn't use Facebook. I tweeted these things, which meant somebody got it
to him,
and very clearly had an axe to grind with me.
Yep.
And knew that Joey being told of this would cause him to confront me, thereby putting me in a tough spot.
So later in the show, we'll talk about how this got resolved. Because you're clearly here and not in the hospital. And Joey Porter didn't get arrested. And this time, believe it or not, his anger management issues didn't manifest in you getting your clock cleaned.